ushering in a new era. A fresh approach with some traditional campaigning methods. Britain's newest political party unveiled its candidates for the European parliamentary elections, with a few familiar faces and a plea for Britain to return to the European fold.
No ifs, no buts. We are determined to give you, the British people, a people's vote to resolve this Brexit mess so that you can vote based on what Brexit is today, not the undeliverable fantasy that we were told it would be 3 years ago.
A relaxed leadership, but days ago, some of the newcomers were flirting with a rather more old-fashioned approach, standing under a possible joint Remain banner with two established parties. Teaming up with the Liberal Democrats and Greens proved unrealistic, potentially splintering the Remain vote. A polling analysis suggests the three parties could have secured 16 of England's 60 seats. Now this is forecast to fall to 7, and all to the Lib Dems. Anna Soubry, do you not face a massive challenge in this election, which is that if you believe in a no-deal Brexit, it's pretty clear who you vote for the Brexit party. If you believe in Remain, there are an array of parties, and do you not face the life of Brian problem with that debate between the People's Front of Judea and the Judean People's Front? You all have the same views, you have different banners, and it's all very confusing.
Well, Nick, I'm sorry you're confused, but I think everybody here is very clear. We are very clear. This is the Remain alliance, as you've heard. We come from all parties, and I mean all parties, not just the Conservative Party, Labour Party, Lib Dems. We have people who, I've read all their forms. Well, no, I haven't read all their forms, sorry. Most of us have read all their forms, and these people are exhausted, I have to tell you.
The party's interim leader says this is a fight worth having.
Polling can go up and down, and it is early. We have just launched today after all. But polling we've done suggests that people's tribalism, their sense of voting for the old parties, the traditional ones, whether that's Lib Dem or Labour, that has changed for people, and they are looking for something new. So there's everything to suggest that they will vote for us.
A new recruit has ambitions to appeal beyond Remainers.
Many people who supported Brexit are looking at it and thinking, is this what we are? Really? A Prime Minister having to go cap in hand to the European Union and say, can we have an extension? Is that taking back control? I think people are angry. I think they're disappointed. I think this is a great country. And I think I am also fed up with the fact that a few people on the far right of this country, dressed in flags, seem to claim that theirs is patriotism. I want our patriotism back, and I would like that to happen as soon as we get rid of Brexit, fix the problems of Britain, and then we can go on to reform the EU, which is an interesting task itself.
Britain's Remainer insurgency chose the strongly pro-EU Bristol for their campaign launch. But this is also the largest city in England's southwest, a region which largely voted in line with the rest of the country in the Brexit referendum. A lesson perhaps that in a crowded marketplace there are no simple routes to success for Remainers.
We're so sorry they're in different colours.
A less than slick start, but order was soon restored for the new kid on the block seeking to revive the European status quo.
That was Nick Watt. With us now in the studio is Change UK MP Chuka Umunna. Would you agree, Chuka, that stopping Brexit is your most important issue right now? That's the thing you're fighting to do.
I think so. For our country right now, I'd actually broaden it to that. And Gavin, of course, formerly of this parish, made the point that this isn't just an issue for people who supported Remain, but also Leave. They want to end this Brexit nightmare. And the only way that we're going to be able to do that is by referring this back to the people so that they can vote based on what Brexit is now, not what it was as a fantasy 3 years ago. But I actually think that these European elections are bigger than that, Emily, because it's actually about two competing visions of how we see our country going forward, what we stand for, what do we Brits want.
That's if you get through these European elections. And at the moment, wait a sec, if I wanted to vote for Remain next month, I would have a choice of about 6 parties. You are splintering the vote. Nick Watt was very kind to you, talking about the Judean People's Front and the People's Front Judea.
I suppose at least he didn't call us a dad's army.
Well, look, bluntly, there are 6 different parties. You could end up with absolutely nothing because people don't know who the Remain group is now.
Well, we are an alliance of people who've come from all of the different parties. If you look at the candidates, we've got 70 candidates, which include ministers, former MEPs, former MPs, councillors, activists from all of the main parties and the Greens. And we also, hang on just a minute, and we also have a huge number of people from outside of politics, nurses, doctors, teachers, people from our armed forces. So that is an alliance of people.
They're within your group, but on the outside, you have the Greens, you have the Lib Dems, you have the SNP, you have Plaid, you possibly have Labour as well. Now, just tell me what efforts you went to try and get an alliance with those other parties so that you had one clear message, one clear Remain party vote.
Well, I actually think the strength of the People's Vote
Wait a second, I said tell me what efforts you went to get that. Please tell me.
I will do. But the strength of the People's Vote movement is its diversity. But this has been a challenge for us because you've got a variety of different parties. The SNP and Plaid Cymru, for example, are nationalists. We are a unionist party, Change UK, the independent group. Now, in order for all of us to form one formula coalition, if you like, all standing on one ticket on a combined list, we would need to all merge under electoral law and stand as one party.
You could have made pacts, you could have made alliances, you know that.
The second,
did you approach the Greens? Did you approach the Lib Dems? Because they seem to believe that you never want to do that.
No, the Liberal. Hang on just a moment. The Liberal Democrats did enter into a conversation about the idea of having some kind of alliance or pact, but it wasn't a detailed discussion. And I come back to electoral law again, which is that if you collaborate and work together, under electoral law, for regulatory purposes, you get deemed to be one entity.
Well, the Greens don't appear to think that that is actually true. They say you can do pacts, you can do alliances. If you are all Remain parties, you could have come together under a Remain banner and given those voters who want to vote Remain a clear signal of what you are.
It is practically impossible to do that. But also, part of the reason that Change UK, the independent group, came into being is because politics is broken. We need to fix it. And if we started doing backroom deals and mimicking the behaviour of the established parties, what would be the point in creating something new?
Look, I don't mean to spell it out too bluntly, but frankly, if you don't get anywhere in the European elections because you've squandered the Remain vote, you won't get a chance to do any changing.
But the point is, it's for the people to decide, and we don't actually know how this result is going to shake down in 5 to 6 weeks. And of course, this is being conducted under the proportional representation D'Hondt system. But the key thing here is, it isn't just about Brexit. Do we want to end up being a country that is xenophobic, nationalistic, small-minded, not open to new ideas or people, which is basically the Nigel Farage UKIP offer? He has said himself that his policies are indistinguishable from UKIP.
But there are lots of parties that could stand on that banner. I don't think the Greens are attracting xenophobes. You could vote for the Greens.
Well, hang on just a minute. Or the alternative is, are we an open, generous, kind nation that actually wants to work with others around the globe to deliver better benefits for people
at home? Could vote Lib Dem for that. My point is, at the moment, if you look at the polls, you've got Nigel Farage's Brexit party in the lead because it says what it does on the tin. It says it's a Brexit party.
Yes.
Now,
but the point is, we're not seeking to mimic Nigel Farage. We are not seeking to appeal to just one part of the country.
You're seeking to get a second vote. You're seeking to get a second referendum.
But we're seeking to
and
do
if the
more.
Brexit party is re-energised, Chuka, you're going to end up having to turn around the electorate of Remainers and say, sorry, we've got nothing to prove for it.
You've got the Brexit party. You've got UKIP. You've got the Conservatives that have swallowed UKIP's and the Brexit Party's agenda whole, and you've got a Labour Party where you've got people who are arguing for us to leave the European Union under an alternative deal. So look, in terms of the Leave vote, there are a range of different options, and there are a range of different options in terms of the Remain vote as well. But do we deny people that choice? Do we seek to do a stitch-up in closed doors? People are fed up. They actually want to see all the choices put on the table and they get to decide. Look, that's the whole rationale for having a people's vote. It's because we're saying that this shouldn't be stitched up by a Brexit elite in Westminster. This should actually be something that is determined by the people.
You had to choose your candidates pretty quickly. I'm going to treat you like a grown-up party now. Ali Sajjadi, who was one of your candidates, tweeted if he thought that, 70% of pickpockets on the tube were Romanian, he'd have chosen Brexit. Not a great start party that wants Remain.
And he's no longer a candidate, and action was taken very quickly on that. And compare and contrast that to the party that I used to be part of, the Labour Party, which has endemic problems around the issues of racism and never takes the action. But the point is, we acted decisively. He has said what he has said in the past was wrong, but he's no longer a candidate.